Hi guys, video number 4 of living with the Tesla Model Y in the UK long range, and my subject for this week is the whole way that these electric vehicles deliver the power and how that sort of surge of acceleration, even gentle surges of acceleration and deceleration with this sort of single pedal driving, because the vehicle will slow down immediately you take your foot off the throttle, sort of like an engine braking type feel to it. That whole sort of experience for those that have grown up with ICE vehicles is something that's immediately noticed and noticeable by, particularly by passengers actually. And what I wanted to say for those that have got a Tesla Model Y on order, about to get one, or considering one, is when you first pick up this vehicle, I would recommend that, particularly as you want your family members and passengers to sort of immediately either notice nothing and just be happy, or certainly not suddenly feel car sick in any way, because what we have found in the first sort of 1300 miles of this vehicle is when you first pick it up, it, as a passenger, it can make you feel quite queasy early on until you get used to it as a passenger, and particularly as the driver gets better at using the sort of throttle on and regenerative throttle off, where the vehicle sort of brakes by itself effectively, and puts energy back in. That whole sort of feeling can initially take a while to get used to, and you don't want your partner, your passengers, your children, because you as the driver are still getting used to it, for them to sort of go off the vehicle or say, oh, I'm feeling their first experience to be, oh, I'm feeling car sick. And what I would urge is you just go very, very gently with the throttle on and very, very cautiously on the throttle off until you get used to it. Otherwise, your passengers might find the early doors experience uncomfortable. That's what we've certainly found. Now we've got used to it 1300 miles later. Really don't notice it anymore. It's irrelevant, and that's a combination of the passengers getting used to the way the dynamics of the vehicle, and the driver getting better at applying the throttle on, throttle off. The other point I wanted to make is here, which is why I've got this screen here, is you'll notice you've got the brake lights on. Now, if I just move slightly forward, you'll notice that brake light goes off. Now, what I've observed is that when you are driving along the road and you take your foot off the throttle, and you take it off sort of quite sort of abruptly, and abrupt is probably too strong a word, and the deceleration is significant, or no, actually not even significant, the brake light will come on. And of course, it can be annoying for the vehicles behind if you're constantly braking. It can make you look like you're a bad driver almost, if your brake lights are coming on all the time because you're throttling on, throttling off, throttling on, throttling off. What I find is when you get used to the vehicle and you gently ease the power off, the light doesn't come on. So you can drive this vehicle power on, power off, without the rear brakes coming on. So let me be clear here. If you power off the throttle and you're not touching the foot brake, so you're not touching the foot brake at all, the brake lights will come on if you power off quite abruptly. If you power off the throttle gently, smoothly, softly, then the brake light doesn't come on, which is better for the vehicles behind you. It's less confusing for the vehicles behind you, and they'll get a perception that you're a better driver than if the lights going on and off all the time. And I mention this because, of course, you know, again, it's something we're not used to with ICE vehicles. We're probably used to slightly throttle on, slightly throttle off, because we're controlling the speed of the vehicle to the road conditions, etc. And ICE vehicles, I've never known an ICE vehicle put the brake lights on by just throttling off. The brake lights literally will only come on with you touching the foot brake. This is a different technology, it's a different world, and Tesla have got this set, probably quite rightly, so that as a precaution, if you throttle off quite abruptly, the brake lights will come on, and you haven't touched the foot brake. So I'm conscious of that the drivers behind don't get confused, and you can drive in that way. And of course, it just makes the whole experience smoother for you. It's probably better for the energy efficiency. It's better for your passengers all round. We always drive in chill. Chill is literally, that's a good name for it, it's relaxed. You don't need any more. Standard is just incredible. You know, it's very, very fast, very, very powerful. I haven't tried the whole brake light thing in standard yet. I imagine the same applies if you're just gentle with the throttle on, throttle off. So those are my thoughts for today. I hope you find that useful and helpful. I'm doing these videos because this is content that when we were considering the whole subject, I couldn't find available or wasn't available from other channels. So I'm trying to add content that puts a different perspective and hopefully different observations and learning points for everybody that's interested, considering, or about to get, or perhaps not even aware of this themselves. Because it was my wife driving. Obviously my wife is driving, she's not going to be looking at this. It is very subtle. It was me as a passenger that noticed it, and we did it together. I said to the wife, well, how about if we just throttle off slightly more gently? And we found that you can drive without that. So that's how we did it. So I urge you as a driver not to be looking at this. Get your passenger to do it for you. All right, it's much safer. Thanks a lot. Cheers.